Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 550th Rome Total War Brother game that I've put onto YouTube. Just to say that I think for our 550th, which is kind of a real milestone for us, I wanted to put something on a bit different, something maybe memorable. And so what I've done is I'm going to put on a brand new Rome Remastered, very rare multiplayer battle. Okay, as we know, all the YouTube videos that we watched on the remastered have all been about the campaign and about modification, so I think that's really good for our RTW campaign friends and the modification community. I think that's really good for them, but still nothing for kind of the multiplayer part of the game here. So what I wanted to do was kind of have a quick look at the Rome Remastered, the Total War Rome Remastered, from the multiplayer point of view. Okay, and just before we go on to the battle. So if we just go on to the multiplayer here, and onto the online multiplayer, and there we go. Now if you notice here, can you see it's on all there? Okay, refresh as well, and not a single multiplayer game up. So I tell you what, when I come into this multiplayer part of the game, what comes to my mind is sterile environment, uninspiring, boring. It's like looking at a wall here, like waiting for paint to dry. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's like. Just where is our lobby? Where is it that we talk to each other? You know, we say hello to our friends. We make new friends. You know, we make clans. We talk about tactics and strategies. You know, all the real social side of Rome Total War is kind of like the chat lobby in the multiplayer is like the soul of the multiplayer, if you see what I mean. And just looking at this, as I say, it just kind of seems like a sterile environment to me. And I think that's a shame, really. I think if anybody from Feral or Creative Assembly is watching this video, what I'd like to say is the RTW multiplayer community really want to work with you to make this game as good as you want it to be, and we want it to be. You know, we really want to work with you on that. Sadly, I think when the game first came out, a lot of the multiplayer community from the old Rome Total War came on to this to try it out. But of course, as soon as they saw there was no lobby, that kind of put them off straight away. Plus our 3v3 and 4v4 games were crashing at an alarming rate as well. Of course, that doesn't help either. And sadly, most, if not all, of the multiplayers from the old Rome Total War have gone back to the old Rome Total War because basically of the lobby more than anything. So what I would say is we really want to work with you, Feral and Creative Assembly. So please work with us and patch us in a lobby. So, you know, and I think that would be a massive stride in getting, a massive step, if you like, in getting the multiplayer community back onto this game, which is what I presume you want, because you want it to be as popular as we want it to be. So I would say please patch us in a lobby as soon as you can. Okay, the next thing I'd like to look at is, let's go and have a look at a custom battle here. Okay, now I was going to ask you all watching this, if you were going to do a remastering of Rome Total War, of the old Rome Total War, do you think that it might cross your mind that, you know, I know there's a lot to think about, but it might cross your mind that the multiplayer community, okay, have still got the same multiplayer battle maps as what there was in 2004. So we're still playing with the same maps that are nearly 17 years old, right? And we haven't had a single new map in nearly 17 years. So if I was doing the remastering, I'd probably think, well, come on, let's give the multiplayer community maybe 4 or 5 new maps. You know, like we've talked about. You know, maybe an island map with 5 or 6 wide wade-in points, and on that island maybe a deserted town that we could fight in and around. You know, that'd be something different, wouldn't it? How about a deserted fortress, you know, that we could fight in and around? How about an island map with some woods and maybe a water feature, and maybe in the middle of that water feature a small island where you could put a couple of units on and the enemy have to wade through the water to get to them? You know, these are just you know, scenarios that come off the top of your head. I know Feral and Creative Assembly will have professional game map makers that could probably think of even better games for us, like, you know, better maps for us, like, you know. So I would say, come on, Feral or Creative Assembly, make us some new maps, and that would be another really big step in getting the multiplayer community from the old Rome Total War onto here to give it a try and have a look. Imagine that, fighting on new maps that we haven't seen for nearly 17 years. That would really draw the multiplayer community onto here, plus, as I say, the lobby. Now if we go on to something else I just want to have a look at here. If we go on to here and just get rid of this armor. Now if you notice here, can you see, say if we want to get an urban cohort here. Okay, so let's put a stripe, silver attack, silver defense on there. So now on the old Rome Total War, if you want to replicate that unit, all you do is double click as many times as you want and it just replicates all the way across there. If you double click on this guy, all it does is go back up into the unit card selection. So what you have to do here is I would say stripe bronze there. So what you have to do is drag that across to replicate it. Okay, no problem with that. Okay, but what was wrong with the original on Rome Total War, where you just double clicked on there and just replicated as many units as you want from there? Okay, so it seems strange to me that Feral have gone into here, this part of the game, and done this where they've stopped you double clicking, so you have to drag it across. Such a small thing there. Now that's not going to get players to come and play the game, is it? That's not going to make a big difference. But they've spent time doing that rather than giving the multiplayer community a lobby. Do you see what I mean? It's such a small little thing like that, which really doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference to, as I say, bringing people onto the game or keeping people. But they've spent time on doing this rather than patching us, a lobby or some new battle maps, or both maybe. So it just seems a bit strange to me. But as I say, if there is anybody from Feral or Creative Assembly here, as I say, the Rome Total War multiplayer community want to work with you in making this game really good. Let's work together on this. And if you want to attract the multiplayer players from the old Rome Total War, then really you need to give us a chat lobby in the multiplayer, and maybe give us some new battle maps as well. We're not asking for the world here, maybe 4 or 5 battle maps, that's all. And I think that would be that would be really great if you could do that. But as I say, if we go back to the multiplayer part of this game here, then I think that it's kind of as I say, it's just look at this. It just, as I say, it just reminds me of looking at a wall waiting for paint to dry. Uninspiring, completely uninspiring here. And without the lobby, it's just like, as I say, a sterile environment. So, as I say, if anybody from Feral or Creative Assembly watching this battle video, please help us to make the game as good as you want it to be and as good as we want it to be. So please give us our chat lobby in the multiplayer lobby here, and please give us maybe some new battle maps. Okay, thanks very much. Okay guys, the next time I see you, it'll be on the multiplayer battlefield here. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so here we are on the multiplayer battlefield here on the Rome Remastered, and our first teammate is RTW player AM Nestos. Now, the first thing you'll notice here is on the Rome Total War, the old Rome Total War Remastered, if I put the mouse arrow over a unit, you will see who the general is in charge, who the player is, plus what the unit is. But if you notice here on the Remastered replay, you don't get anything. Okay, so that's, I think, is something that they need to look at, because I think it's useful, when you put a mouse arrow over units, especially in battle where you're seeing tactical moves and things like that and knowing who's who, it's quite handy to have that. So as I say, RTW player AM Nestos has bought the Germanic faction there. As I say, I'm still getting used to the remastered camera here, so there might be a few fast moving moments here. And our next teammate is Brotherhood member Lake Damon, as you can see, who has bought the Rome Scipii faction. Now if we look close here at these guys, I don't know, do you think that they look quite dark to you? Now bearing in mind that I've got my settings on vibrant, so the colour should be really bright here, I think that they do seem to be a little dark to me. I don't know what you guys, bearing in mind that they've got the winter background, so you've got the white background there, and I thought they might be a looking a little bit lighter there, bearing in mind I've got it on vibrant. Okay, there's their Praetorian cavalry. As I say, with this remastered camera, like as you've seen on other battlefields there, you can get in really close to look at these guys. Okay, so that's Lake Damon's Scipii units there. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Carthage faction. Okay, so we'll have a closer look at them, if you like. There you go, and so that's a close-up of the Carthaginians there. I must say their spears do look thicker than on the Rome Total War ones. The Rome Total War ones seem a little bit thinner than these. These look quite thicker, look like they're more realistic kind of thing there. Have a quick look at the Baleric Slingers. So there's a Baleric Slingers there. You can see them quite clearly with their pouch where they carry their slingshots. A lot clearer there. So that's our team. So remember, Germania is Amnestos. Scipii is Lake Damon, Brotherhood member Lake Damon, and Carthage is myself, Spartan Commander. So there's our army. Should be an interesting battle for you to watch. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at the Germanic units here. Now these are the Night Raiders here. Now remember, the Night Raiders bring a big fear factor, and if you look at, I thought it was just interesting to see the tattoos that they've actually put on to these Night Raiders. I think it's quite interesting here how they've the tattoos I think look pretty good on these guys. Obviously I presume that barbarian troops used to tattoo their bodies maybe to instill fear in their enemies, but I just thought that was quite interesting to see the tattoos even on the face, on the bodies and everything like that for the Night Raiders. All the different tattoos there. So I thought that was quite interesting to look at. And if you look at the these are the effective against armor chosen axemen here. A close up look at those, and just a quick look at the Berserkers here. Here you can see the Berserkers there. Once again, they've got like painted bodies, haven't they? They're effective against armor axes there. So that's just a quick look at the Germanic faction there. Be interesting to see how well they do during the course of the battle. And here is the other team. Once again, as I say, you put the mouse arrow over them and you don't get any information at all, so that might be something that Ferrell might want to look at here. But this is Pontus, and this is commanded by Brotherhood member Barclayman. Okay, so if you remember here, Barclayman is got Pontus. Quick look at the archers there of Pontus there. Look there. And there's the pikemen there with their long pikes. But once again, as I say, I've got my settings on vibrant, but they do, I don't know if it's just me, but they do look a little bit dark to me. Let's have a look at the chariots here. And there you see the chariots there close up with the spikes coming out there. They still look quite devastating, don't they? Remember, bringing chariots, they bring a big fear factor, taking morale away from enemy troops, destabilising them, making them more susceptible to routing. Plus they got a big attack specification as well. But remember, if these guys run amok, they become a menace to both friend and foe alike, because they kill both friend and foe alike. So that's Pontus there. Let's have a look and see who's next. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member 8-Ball or Schemer, who has bought the Seleucid faction here. Let's have a quick look at the Silver Shield Legionnaires. So there's the Silver Shield Legionnaires there. Okay, I just say I've got the lighting on this game on maximum as well as vibrant, but to me they still seem a little bit dark, these units. I don't know what you guys think there. And there's a close-up of the spearmen there, the pikemen. So they look pretty good to me. What I did notice here was if you have a look at the Cataphracts. Now if we have a close look at the Cataphracts here, do they look a bit dark to you? Once again, they seem quite dark to me, and I don't know if they look as good actually as the Cataphracts on the old Rome Total War. I suppose it's just a matter of what your taste is, but they do look a little bit dark to me. So okay, that's the Seleucids there with 8-Ball or Schemer, and their last teammate, who has bought Egypt, is Brotherhood member First Prime. Now you might think to yourself, well, this is a winter scenario map, why would he bring Egypt? Okay, well I think he's brought Egypt to counter Germania. Okay, now remember he's got Pharaoh archers with good long range that he could kind of counter Germania with, plus he's got spears, and we know that barbarian troops die quickly on spears, so I think this could, although it might seem a bit strange, I think this could be a good counter to Germania. There's the Pharaoh guards there. I think these guys look quite good. I think they're coloured quite well, and they really do kind of show out from the snow there. So I think they look quite good. And he's bought the Nile cavalry, and there's the Nile cavalry there. Close up of the Nile cavalryman there. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do during the course of the battle. So I hope you enjoyed this very rare Rome Remastered Multiplayer battle. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see that First Prime has brought his Egyptian troops forward here, especially his Pharaoh bowmen. And if you notice here, you'll see that Brotherhood member Lake Damon is bringing his auxiliary archers across here to counter the Pharaoh bowmen. So I think this could be an interesting little tussle here as they kind of meet each other. I say I've got the white streamers, you know, see the white streamers there of the missiles. I've got that that loaded there. As I wasn't quite sure if I'd like them or not, but actually I think they have grown on me a little bit there. There's a close-up of the Pharaoh bowman there, and you can see the incoming white streamers of the our Scipionite allies' arrows there, coming in on them there. So I say it's an interesting little tussle there between the Pharaoh bowmen and, as I say, the Roman auxiliary archers there. And over on this flank, you can see, as I say, it's getting used to the remastered camera for me here. You can see the Seleucid bowmen have come forward here and are up against the Germanic chosen archers. So it'll be an interesting tussle here, but we know that the chosen archers are so much better than the Seleucid archers here, so my guess is it'd be a bit of a one-sided competition there between the chosen archers. Okay, over on this other flank here, as I say, First Prime, very aggressive, very attacking player here with his Egyptians. And as I say, he moved that cavalry unit forward there with the idea of probably taking out some of Lake Damon's archers. You can see that his Pharaoh bowmen seem to have suffered some casualties there. But I would say, pound for pound, the Pharaoh bowmen are probably the best foot archers on Rome Total War. They got good long range, great defense, and they're so tough you can use them as light infantry when they run out of arrows there. So as I say, they're probably causing Lake Damon quite a lot of casualties there. And if you notice here, I've got my Baleric Slingers that I'm probably going to run forward here to help fight those bowmen, because as you can see, the Pharaoh bowmen, I think, have caused a lot of casualties to our Scipionite ally. As I say, on the old Rome Total War, I could put the mouse arrow onto the Scipionite archers and you could see how they've been battle depleted. But of course, as you can see here, you can't see that. So, right, so I've taken my Baleric Slingers forward now, and we're going to start targeting those Pharaoh bowmen. But as you can see here, can you see First Prime here bringing this Nile cavalry unit in? Notice he hasn't got it in wedge formation, he's got it in normal formation for more speed. And he's brought that in to try and have a go at my slingers there. But a nice counter there by Lake Damon bringing his cavalry forward. Okay, so my slingshots now will be coming in on these Pharaoh bowmen. So I'm hoping to cause a lot of casualties to the bowmen here with my slingers. Here you can see the black slingshots coming in, taking out those Pharaoh bowmen. You see them coming in there. I think that's quite interesting to see that. So you can see, as I say, the Seleucid archers coming across there, maybe to target Germania. And now you can see that Lake Damon is taking his infantry forward here towards the Egyptians. You must be aware that these Seleucid archers could shoot into his flank or even into his rear if he's not careful, and he was battlefield aware there, can you see, because he's moving his cavalry over to maybe take out those Seleucid archers while he's still moving his infantry forward towards the Egyptians here. As I say, the Pharaoh bowmen there, I'm still shooting my slingshots into them, still trying to deplete their numbers. As I say, these archers, probably the best archers in the game, and if you can take them out, that would be a good move there. Okay, so you can see the Seleucid Cataphracts here moving over towards Lake Damon's cavalry there. And just to say, I think Amnestos was quite brave bringing Germania against 2 pikes and a spear faction here. He's going to have to use his Germanic troops extremely tactically and strategically to make sure that they kind of don't get killed quickly by the pikes and spears of the enemy troops there. Okay. Now what I want to do with my Carthage Sacred Band is obviously engage those pike factions as quickly as I can. And the reason to do that is because if I can hold and pin those two, okay, I'll be facing 2 armies, but if I can pin and hold them, then that should give my allies a bit of time to maybe get around the flanks of those armies. So that's something that I was thinking about in this battle. I think the launch of this game was a Thursday, and I think this battle we was playing on a Friday night. But I remember we had so many game crashes that I think we were lucky to get this 3v3 in without it crashing. Okay, once again you can see Lake Damon moving his Scipii cavalry towards the enemy there. He needs to watch out for that one cavalry unit of his there running into the Seleucid pikes. Maybe needs to pull his troops back a bit there. As I say, you can see First Prime moving his Egyptian troops forward. Once again here I can see Lake Damon using his cavalry, probably looking to take out the archers here, maybe even looking to take on these Nile cavalry. You can see the Nile cavalry charging in there. Bang! As they smash in there. Remember that Nile cavalry can be quite tough. You've got the Cataphracts moving in as well there. So Lake Damon, I would say, would best to move his cavalry back there because he's got the Cataphracts and the Nile cavalry there moving in on him. As I say here, you can see my Carthage army here facing the Seleucids and possibly Pontus as well. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen here. As you can see here, I'm running my infantry forward. As you know, when I bring a spear army like Carthage or Greek cities, I'm always aggressive, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move in towards those Seleucids there. But I must be aware here that Pontus could try and flank me here, so I'm going to be aware of that. If you notice, the Seleucids are now pulling back. They didn't want to face my Carthage Sacred Band. They've pulled back, and now Pontus is moving forward here with these big, possibly flanking units that could come around the flank of my guys. So maybe withdrawing here might be a good plan and replacing my army rather than letting the Pontus guys pin and hold me at the front and get units around my flank. So there you go. Can you see it pulling back there? And I say the pikes of those Pontus pikemen there are very long in comparison to the short spears of my guys here. But I'm now going to run into Pontus here. I've decided I'm now going to charge in there and attack the Pontus pikemen. Now here's a little something here that I think is a great touch by Pharaoh here. I'm going to go into slow motion mode. Okay, so this is now half speed here. I just want to show you that so you can actually see the slow motion fighting here, and you can really go in close and see them actually fighting in close like this. I think that's a nice little touch there from Pharaoh, going into half speed, and then you just click on to normal speed when you want them to do that. Now you can see here that these Cataphracts, I should imagine when a Cataphract charge goes in, that's interesting to watch. Okay, so you can see those Cataphracts charging there. Let's go into half speed and see when those Cataphracts hit they've pulled back there. So that would have been a good thing to see those Cataphracts actually hit there, and seeing men thrown up in the air in slow motion. So let's go back to normal speed there. I just thought that would have been, I think the slow motion part of the game would be great to see when cavalry hit, so you could see people being thrown up into the air in slow motion and things like that. I think that could be quite interesting. So you got a heck of a lot of enemy cavalry build up here, and you can see that Lake Damon is taking a couple of his infantry Scipio units forward there. And let's see if those cavalry are going to charge in there. And there you go. You can see that cavalry, those cavalry charging in there to his units. Once again, fighting in slow motion. You can see the maces out. They've been alt attacked there, so using their effective against armor maces against the Scipio troops there. Let's say, I think the slow motion part here could add something more to the game. Over here you can see them fighting again. Say those effective against armor maces really good there. Slow motion kills as they go down. Look. Go back to normal speed there. Right, okay, let's pause the game for a second here. Okay, so you can see here I've got my Carthage Sacred Band. I'm fighting the Egyptian spearmen, Pontus spearmen here as well. I can see Lake Damon's charged a cavalry unit into the rear of one of the Pontus pikemen there, so that's a nice hit there by Lake Damon. As I say here, you can see still some more Egyptian spearmen there. He may well come into my side with those. And we got the Seleucid pikemen here facing our Scipioid ally. And our Germanic ally here looks like he's going to charge in. But as I say, he's going to have to be very careful there, because as we know, pikes and spears kill barbarian troops quite quickly here. And you've got that Nile cavalry and those Cataphracts out there as well. Okay, so one of his Berserkers has now been activated. Well, both his Berserkers have now been activated. Here you can see the Berserkers there. Let's go into that half speed, into that slow motion there. Might be interesting to see the Berserkers in slow motion there. That smashing the enemy troops up into the air. You've got Lake Damon's cavalry and infantry in there as well. You can see the Night Raiders there, bringing a fear factor to enemy troops. Let's say you can see this is the half speed here. I just think it adds something more, as you can see in slow motion. As the men get killed, they just go down slowly there. I think it adds a little bit more to the battle there. You can see the Berserkers doing a lot of damage there to the enemy troops, and the Night Raiders and everything there. Just go back up to normal speed there. So that's a big melee there. Let's just pause the game for a second. So you've got the Germanic troops here and Lake Damon's troop fighting Seleucid and Egypt. I've got my Carthage here facing Pontus and Egypt there as well. Okay. Plus we got more infantry there. I've got my Baleric Slingers thrown into the enemy as well. Now you can see these chariots here are going into the rear of those enemy chariots, going into the rear of our allies' Germanic troops there. So let's go into half speed here, so you can see them smash into the rear of our Germanic ally there. That's our Germanic allies' general's just been killed. As we know, Germanic morale's not very good, so with a general dead, that's not let's go to normal speed now. As you can see, the 2 Berserkers have been activated there by their red flashing banners. Let's say for this battle, as it's a very rare multiplayer, I tend to be concentrating more on looking at the troops fighting here, so you can actually see them actual fighting here with the great remastered camera. So I think it really is good. ARS half speed again. Look, you can see the Berserkers there. One's just got taken down. So when they start swinging those effective against arm axes, you can see like maybe wide swathes of the enemy troops being hit up into the air there. See that one there? Whack! Look how he smashes that guy straight up in the air like that, with that impact that they've got. Bang! Look at that. As I say, this is half speed here, and as I say, I think it's got potential to. I think this is quite a nice little touch here, because you can actually see. Whoa! Look at all those. That one Berserker just smashed up in the air with his axe. You can actually see them spinning round with their axes here. Look at that! Another massive whack up into the air like that. I just think that the half speed is a nice little touch there. As I say, I'm concentrating more on seeing the troops fighting than maybe looking at the general battle here, because I just want to show how good this game could be once they've ironed out a few problems, like, you know. I think this could be a really great game. You can see my Carthage Sacred Band here still fighting Pontus and Egypt there. But as I say here, you can see the Berserkers here. Let's go into ordinary speed now. Normal speed. You can see some of our Germanic allies have been routed there. And you've got the Spearmen starting to come in on Lake Damon. Once again, you can see the Berserkers in action here, looking to take out some of those Egyptian troops. Just like we've just taken out the Egyptian general there. So that's good news for us.
Your allies are cowards, barely fit to be called men.
See that Nile cavalry going in there and bang as that smashes in there. Straight into the side of Lake Damon. You can see those spearmen moving in there on Lake Damon. You can see a lot of our Scipionite allies infantry are starting to rout now. And it looks like the
leader has proved to be a disappointment.
It looks like the enemy team have gone on to win the battle there. You can see the dead here. As I say, there's lots of missile troops been shooting into us all the time. As I say, you can see there that most of our allies' troops have now been routed there. And they've still got missile troops. I've still got some of my Baleric Slingers still shooting into the enemy here. Can you see that guy's body? Like, he's been shot by a fire arrow. Did you see him burn in there as he was hit by fire arrows? But yeah, you can see that I think most of our team has now been routed there. You can see here where one of the most intense part of the fight is with the longer grass there. It's a bit difficult to see all the bodies, but you can see that was quite an intense part of the battlefield there.
Your allies are cowards.
Some of my Carthaginians are still fighting. As I say, I've still got my slingers shooting slingshot into the enemy. But as I say, most of our Germanic ally and our Scipionite ally has now been routed. And my guess is that my Carthaginians have just been routed too. So let's just pause the game for a second here. So, as I say, you can see where the most intensive part of the fighting was here. I think that's where our Germanic ally was fighting. And our Scipionite ally. And you can see here lots of bodies all over the battlefield. But as I say, the most concentrated part was here. And some more dead over here as well. So, okay, so just like to say, really well played to everybody in the game. As you can see, it was a close defeat. Now, what I've noticed here was, can you see that Pontus here is the team on top of his teammates here? And Pontus has got the victory laurels. Remember in Rome when a general won a victory, they get the victory laurels. So as you can see here, they've given the victory laurels to Pontus there, but of course that represents all of the winning team. Okay, now what I liked about this was, if you notice here, can you see my Carthaginians managed to scrape in the highest kills in the game, even though we lost. But what I like is, can you see here, you can check what kills you got, which is quite interesting. And there's your soldiers deployed, casualties inflicted, and soldiers remaining. But you can check your allies as well, let's see. You can look at their specifications there as well, which I think is quite interesting. And there's the Germanic ones there. You notice one of his Berserkers got 172 kills, so that's quite good. But what also I like here is you can check up on the enemy's kills as well. So you can look there, see what damage they've done. And of course you can look at the Seleucids there of 8-ball or Schemer. Not fantastic kills maybe, but not too bad. And you can look at the First Prime's Pharaoh guards there and Bowman. See what kind of kills he got there as well. So I think that's a nice little touch where you can check up on all the kills there. So as I say, I hope you enjoyed. This is the first remastered multiplayer battle that I've ever put on. As I say, I haven't got many more of these battles because, as you know, most of all my friends are still playing the old Rome Total War, which has got the great lobby. And so I don't play on the remastered at the moment. We're waiting for a lobby to be patched in and maybe some new battle maps. Okay, Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed this first Rome Remastered multiplayer battle that I've put on. Look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.